All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Bookmap Academy. Ooh, am I sharing my screen? No. Okay. Here we go. All right. So welcome everybody to the Bookmap Academy. We do this meeting every Thursday at market close, 4 p.m. East Coast time. And it's our coaching and mentoring program. We'll go through your trades, open the mic for you, explain, listen. You will explain your trade, your setup, what you were thinking, and go through how you journaled it and what you're communicating, and we'll give you feedback. This is the whole goal of the program. If you're interested, let me show you where you can go. Just go to bookmap.com, click on the More button, and you can go under Community here right to Bookmap Academy. Where did they go? Where did our link go? All right. Well, if you don't see it, you can just type in Academy, and we are good to go here. Hold on a minute. Okay, interesting. I don't know where the link is. How are you going to find it to sign up? Let's see it. Oh, I misspelled it. That's why. There we go. That looks like the Bookmap Academy page. All right, I'll put this in the chat for you so you can sign up for it if you are interested. Yep. There you go. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Stephen. You already beat me to it. All right. Got a good crowd in here today. Let's see. A few different things to go through, just some news items. If you're new to Bookmap, there's an onboarding meeting every Tuesday at 2 p.m. So we'll go through how to get up and running with Bookmap, what version or package to use, how to make a connection, how to add a symbol, and get up and running. It's just the basics here, but it's been really helpful for a lot of people. You'll see it in the Discord chat or the Discord events, and also on our new calendar, which is fantastic. So our new calendar, go to bookmap.com, education. You'll scroll down here, and this is our new calendar here. So you can see all the events in here, and our onboarding event is right here. You can register in Zoom. All right, so that's that. And then, please give us some feedback on the Bookmap Academy. We did this a couple of weeks ago, and you guys gave us some great feedback. We'd like to hear from you, how to improve the Academy for you. And then also our Blue Jacket competition is back. So use your phone to take a screenshot here of Blue Jacket if you want to enter this competition. You can get Bookmap for free, and also data for 3 months, and then also the scan this here to give us some feedback. All right, that's that. Let's jump in and we'll start to go through the coaching. And let's see here, who is in the room and who should we go through first? How about, is Vinny in the room? Vinny's been kind of absent. He's been a content machine, journalizing all sorts of things.
But no cigar.
Yeah.
And I've also got Laura, who often doesn't take the mic, but she's not in the room as yet either.
Yeah.
So maybe we can refresh a little later if they come along. I don't know if yours are around, Stan.
Yeah, right. I have Shark Blue.
Yeah, Shark Blue's there, isn't he?
Okay.
Yeah, he's here.
There we go. Okay. All right.
Who's here with baby?
So let me get this all set up here. Okay. All right, and we'll invite Shark to the stage. Guys, look, you're welcome to, everyone's welcome into the Bookmap Academy. You can even have just the free version of Bookmap, and you can even journal that. But week over week, it's Shark, it's Steven, is trading of his life, a few of the other guys in here. consistently are creating content and journaling their trades, and so that's why we're going over them again and again. And Sharks must be loving it. I mean, he's getting a lot of feedback, a lot of attention here, and I can only imagine it's helping his trading. So let's jump in, Stan.
Yeah, perfect. So I don't know if Shaq, you would like to go a little bit over, or if you would like me to.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. What I'm trying to pull this up on my screen. What day are we looking at? This is yesterday.
Tuesday 7.
Tuesday. Okay. Tuesday the 18th.
Yeah.
Oh, Stan, this is a good one because I have some execution flaw. I have a big fat execution flaw here we can look at.
Ooh, yeah, buddy. Tell us.
Yeah, Shark, walk us through. It looks like you're muted now.
Okay, there I am. I was
There.
talking.
Okay.
Quite often I'm a bit aggressive and I get into a trade a little too soon. Like, I'm looking at my higher time frame. In this case, it's supply and demand. And my goal is supply and demand, then get my 1 2 3 R trigger, and then look to my order flow to engage with the market. In this case, I was a bit on the aggressive side, I believe. So I entered the trade, and as you see, this is an hour worth of what I call the kill zone. That's that chop on one side of the trade. So I entered this trade twice. The first one worked out good. Yeah, like scalp status, right? I got in one contract. I got out one contract. Exactly. And then when price came back down, towards my demand zone, and I got that market post price change divergence that I'm looking for to signal a higher time frame exhaustion. I got back into the trade with two contracts, and instead of chasing my stop out of there, I just kind of held on to it. So this is what I'm talking about as execution flaw. So in this case, where I have demand, typically in my trade, I have a supply and demand zone, in this case demand, because it's a long, and the bottom of my trend line pivot low. So I'm going to choose whichever one is lower in the long format and put my stop 2 ticks below that level. In this case, I put my stops below demand, but they were at my trend line pivot low. So there's my execution flaw. Price came back in. It ticked right off the trend line pivot low, but took one of my stops out with it. One of my stops filled, one did not. Where you just circled, Bruce. And then it did eventually work its way to my target.
Wow. So this one right here, you just hanging in there by a tick or two.
Just hanging in there. And these stops should have been below. If you go all the way to the left, they should have been below that trend line pivot low, that red dot right there. They should have been below that 2 or 3 ticks. And that's my trade model. But sometimes you're in the heat of the moment or in the trade, and I put my stop below my demand zone, which happened to be 2 ticks below my demand zone, which happened to be right at my trend line pivot low. Now, had I put my stop where it belonged, I wouldn't have lost that one contract right there.
yeah, and that's perfect. Like, yeah, you even mentioned it on the other slide, and that's great to see it like in your work too. So you are even like journaling it. So yeah, that's perfect. As
In this
Bruce
case,
said,
it made it to target, but that's what is that? That's 45 minutes of up and down in the kill zone. So it works out. It works out if I play the trade accordingly, or perhaps in hindsight, I could have waited a little longer to enter and come in with a little more leverage, and the trade would have probably been more profitable. And it was still a profitable trade. I pulled 8 points out of this even with the stop, but it still could have been better executed. And that's the reason I do this. Each one of these sets of screenshots is a lesson for myself.
yeah, but yeah, just great job by annotating, by making your feedback, knowing what you can improve. Yeah, that's just a strong work. There is not a lot to say. You're doing the same day after day. You're consistent. I think you're even confident in your setup. Yeah, that's great. We can always see all the annotation then you will make for your notes um, if you move from this chart.
Can we look at the footprint chart?
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. All the other flow element, then you will highlight the liquidity, the convection. Then you just said different sort of exhaustion. In this case, donkey face exhaustion, but even on other works, you're using
Let me turn that off.
yeah, exhaustion. I mean, yeah, that's great, and it's good that you're
Do
looking
you
for
see
things that
the
you can improve.
do you see the bar where the donkey face exhaustion starts? That the left side of that big red arrow.
Yeah, completely at the top on the left.
This
No,
here.
no, the on
On
the
the
other end
right.
of the arrow.
Okay, up here. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, yeah. So if you look at the total volume on that bar, volume more than doubled on that bar. That's where I should have known my stop goes below that below that 5-minute rotation. That green arrow is where my stop should have been and was not. Yeah, that's where my stop should have been.
Yeah. But as I mentioned, you even mentioned it on your trade. So yeah, that's perfect. Then you're taking this kind of note. I'm sure it will help you. Yeah, that's great to see your trade through Bookmap always. How you scale out, how you scale in again, and you took it. So yeah, again, great. Yeah, as I said, not a lot, just great job. I don't know if there.
Yeah, sure. Nice chatting as always there. Shark, always nice to see you. We got my simple basics of time of day and so forth. So that helps all of us just to sort of look back and compare to our own charts. If we can go back to the first chart, please, Bruce. And I'm going to do my Monday morning quarterback, I'm afraid, as I like to do. The thing that I see on your second entry there, when you're getting long, just after 7:15, is that we've got a decent sell red bar coming in, and you're going long. Now, I appreciate all the sort of levels and what's down in the subchart, but to me, just 101, I would not necessarily be looking to get long there unless I was at a key level, and whether that's some of the Voodoo Black Cats, VWAP, and other things that we might be playing, or some of the options level. But getting long there is you admit yourself is a bit aggressive, a bit bold. Albeit, of course, the trade, as you say, for one of them rightly did work out. There may be a little bit better place sit in your hands. As you say, a bit more to the right of that to have got in, which might be again, Monday morning, that sort of 7:31, 7:32, and we're starting to see the buying come in, and then you're off for another scalp. But yeah, that'd be my only thing to add to that, really, Phil, I have to say.
I agree, David. I think a lot of that second entry, this is a real-time trade. And a
Yeah.
lot of that second entry is me wanting to not miss out on the
Yeah.
impending move north that I'm counting on.
Sure.
You
Sure.
know, so
Yeah.
and here's as you notice, you know, my first entry was with the single contract, but nope, on
Mhm.
that second one, I came in with two contracts. I
Nice.
wanted to be in that trade for that
Respect.
move north, and a lot of that is kind of an on the fly emotional reaction. I know that.
Yeah,
That's
well, we
what
all
it
do it.
takes to slow down.
I don't know if we'll get through Laura's tonight because she doesn't seem to be around at the moment. But on her, she's got similar sort of charts where she's jumped in, she's been smashed out, and so forth. And there is that. You're on a different time zone, but still, the market started. We're in the real cash hours. You want to get something off, don't you? You know, you want to bang one out, as I always say. So yeah, we all do it. We all do it. Yeah. We'll segue back to you, Bruce, maybe. Hello, Laura. Good evening.
Yeah, Laura's here. Um,
That's good.
yeah, Shark. So I'm with David on this. Like, it's quite bold, and you mentioned that, and you also mentioned you're getting in kind of early. Um, so I would really like. I would suggest like maybe just taking a step back, and maybe forcing yourself to wait. Uh, I mean, hell, I really, I'm totally Monday morning quarterbacking it because I did exactly, something in here that was in a live webinar. I saw this breaking out and I was like, okay, yeah, it'll come up here and retest. There was liquidity up in this little area and this is where it dropped from. I was pretty sure it was going to do it. And I got in here and it's like, I was just looking for this, really nothing much. But I'm right in the middle of heavy selling. What am I doing?
Doing, yeah.
I'm just looking for a little scalp in there. But like, I mean, this thing is this it. The bigger picture. This is not the bigger picture yet. Um, it's the minor picture, and that's why you can get caught up in, not you, all of us get caught up in the chop until it starts to show us something else. And your 1, 2, 3 patterns all about that, really. Laura has been really good with the patience waiting for this kind of turnaround. And
She's so good at catching the entry at the right time, at being patient and then catching the entry.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know. I mean, like what's the salute? Well, I don't know. I kind of struggle with the same thing. Because like this is looking good, it looks like it wants to go. And even though I know, like I'm not looking for much, but anyway, it ends up doing it, but way later, and hacks around in here. So uh, maybe look for and wait for the um, the structure, like if I can show an example in here, wait for that turnaround and then wait for this breakout, then wait for the pullback, right? So it's not the best example in here, maybe even here, like wait for a pullback down to here. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's here.
Yeah, I could have definitely been more patient. I look at it from two angles, right? This 7 to 7:45, what I call the kill zone. It's in every single one of these trades, the Monte Cristo that I show. I mean, it's there. It could be 2 minutes or 10 minutes, or it could be 2 hours. We just don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of up to how we react to it. And I have a tendency to hit it on the early side. I'm working on my patience, but at the same time, like David said, I want to bang one out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity to be had in that kill zone. There's also a lot of opportunity to just get destroyed in there.
Yeah. It's true. So I don't know. Like I know, like I'm with David on this. You have your reasons here for some getting into the position. On the other hand, though, I'm just looking at volume dots and volume bars, and it's pretty sell side, and then it
It
starts
really
to,
is.
then it starts to pick up. Boy, this is looking good for it to drop, but then like it just doesn't, and then these guys come in, they come in more, This is looking pretty good for breaking the top edge here and going back up into areas. So
This is also pushing my time frame, Bruce. Like 45 minutes. That's stretching it for me. I want to become more patient. I want to be, I want to look at things through a wider lens, and I'm working hard on it. But I'm, like I said, 45 minutes is pushing it for me. I'm more of like a 5, 10, 15-minute guy to find that reversal and get out of it,
Nice.
get out of that hole.
you can find that all over the place, even like on this, in this example. I mean, it on just little scalps here and there, all over the place, and it does it. But maybe that's I think I really like what you showed like a couple weeks ago, going through replay mode and just hitting that again and again and again. Because I mean, that's how you'll look at it and go, yeah, maybe, but I'm gonna wait. And it's just like that poker player who has played so many more hands than other people, and they're gonna get better. So I don't know. That's a suggestion. And then I did want to comment on this too. Like I'm a little confused. I got the exhaustion part. I see this up here as well. That looks good, but I'm a little confused on your delta, because I'm seeing negative delta.
Yeah, it's not a delta reversal, but I'm looking at that 200 plus percent volume increase right there at that bar.
So this one.
Yeah, that one. I would have loved to see a positive delta there.
Yeah.
But that's a big fat increase in volume. And then the fact that sellers cannot take it below that level moving forward.
Got you. Okay. Well,
you see you just got sellers that next moving past 715, right? Them 5-minute rotations, you got sellers every 5 minutes, but they just cannot get below that initial level at 2750 or whatever it is. And we're not seeing it. I'm not seeing it on the liquidity here. I'm not seeing buyers on the bid, but there's something there, dude. There's an elephant, there's an iceberg, there's something in the background absorbing those sellers that we're not seeing.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. That's kind of new information. I mean, there's high liquidity in here, but let's go back to the other chart, because what I would what immediately, I mean, that's interesting you say this. So you've got the huge increase in delta here to 30,000, almost 31,000. But these are pretty big too. There's 24, almost 20. Here's 36 on the way down. But this is to me, like, I hear what you're saying. I want to know if this is a big stop run, and then and verify that. I want to make sure that people are just getting hammered out of the
How do we
trade.
know that, Bruce? How do we see that?
Well, your Bookmap Academy, you can get stops and icebergs. You create a ton of content. You're qualified for MBO bundle or stops and icebergs. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
There,
If you give it
there
to
you
me,
go.
I will buy it.
I'm not.
Brother.
I'm sorry you didn't have it. But oh, no problem. Happy to give it to you, Shark. You've earned it. That's what the program's all about. So And then you can come in and like add this into it, and just like, wow, okay, I got the. I mean, I'm not quite seeing it here, but I mean, this is it here, right? This is that big move.
That's it there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
That's
clearly going to
that's
be a
that
stop run.
30,000 plus lot move
Yeah,
in 5 minutes right there.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, for sure, there's going to be just a ton of people getting stopped out, and you're right. You're exactly right. That's significant because look at all of that chop, and the sellers couldn't bring it lower. So it had to chop around, and
And they
then
tried, like they tried, like you saw, like 6 out of 8 of those 5 minute rotations were just hammered by sellers at the bottom, but they didn't go anywhere.
yeah, 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 exactly. They tried. I mean, you're spot on. And then they're going to get all stopped out on the way back up. That's where you can start to put these pieces. This might be a whole new setup then for you to check out. Look for that massive stop run, look for this, and look for that delta to start to turn around, because that these guys they're hammering it. They're thinking, oh yeah, it's going south, to zero, and they're just going to get so squeezed up in here.
But if I can add in, Bruce, and I know it's how we all trade sort of the same but differently. You know as well, Bruce, that 7 o'clock sell down. More than likely David's going to be short there, because I'm very reactive to when I see that volume pickup. We saw this today, where the volume at the start of the cash bell RTH was pretty sort of ETH levels. It was quite, and some of the posts I was doing, going, this volume is really, it's volume of nothing, and we were just munching around for 5-10 or so minutes, and then suddenly, bang, those thick, large red delta bars came in on Bookmap, and it's just go short. I'll say forget the setup, because there is a setup, of course, within that, Bruce. But do you know what I mean? I'm just reacting to what I see on the chart, and I go. So maybe have a look at that, Shark, of those sort of ways, those really scalpy trades to take.
Will do. One thing about today I can say is this delta reversal thing that I've been just drowning myself in.
Yeah.
Today is a day that I'm gonna study big time this weekend, because it happened back to back to back to back to back. Like it just went back and forth with these big fat delta reversals today. So I'll find something to share from that with the Academy.
Andy, okay, we've all got a different lens, same lens about today. One of the key triggers for me, and I can see John's in the room. It'd be interesting, perhaps, Bruce, we get him on the mic, what John was thinking. But
yeah,
Tesla dropped $8-9 within as many minutes, if not less. And when I saw that on the sell, and I can see Nvidia on the sell, then anything else I'm seeing is like, yeah, this isn't just a sweep for a lower price, and we're gonna gouge down quite a bit before, as we have done, towards the close come up. So that confluence, if you can, if you've got that, you're gonna have to twist Bruce's arm a little bit more so he can give you a DX feed. Come on, Bruce.
For now, I'm good with the MBO, and I'll dive into that. I appreciate it, Bruce. All those dips you're talking about today, David.
Yeah.
We're in a higher time frame demand zone that I have at 0950, and it just price would dip in there and just pop out with massive volume. And like I said, it was just back to back to back to back. It's going to be today's a really good day to study for me this weekend.
Yeah, very much. Welcome, John.
Hello there. How are you?
Very good. Yourself?
I'm doing good. Great day. Yes, sir.
You probably heard my sort of, I call it a broad question. How you were in the room as well. How you started the cash hours off this afternoon? What you were seeing, please.
There was so much volume that came into the market and so little liquidity. I let it go.
Okay.
And I didn't do a thing until 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
I waited till it got down to 607 SPY, which was a level for me. And I think you caught it one time. It bumped off of 607 3 times.
It
And I
didn't
caught it
adjust.
one time. And but yeah, that from the shoot, from the very beginning, my goodness, there was too much risk for me to entertain, and I just watched it come down with so much volume and so little
Yeah.
liquidity, that I did wait till 10 o'clock, and I started trading after that.
Perfect.
But I
Well,
did have a thought, about
mhm.
what Shark is showing here.
Yeah,
One thing that
please.
had one had- thing that has really helped me was the instrument copy tool with Bookmap. And what that allows me to do is get a copy, of the symbol off to another screen where I'm only going to look at volume, liquidity, and volume bars. Volume dots,
Mhm.
liquidity, and volume bars. And just focus my attention on those three things will tell you a lot. And it's like what you were talking about earlier, about that large volume, negative
Mm.
volume bar, and you're buying into that. You would
Yeah,
have seen that very
you'd
easy.
have seen that easy.
And
Yeah.
and so once I started practicing with that instrument copy command, I realized that I wanted to assign the priority of my read to first liquidity, volume, and volume dots. And that, and then when the other things that you have in the subgraph, if you want to have the CVD and the VPI extreme, that's fine. But for me, that comes in after I have my initial read, and
Perfect.
that has really helped me, to move along this.
No,
And
great
and
point,
that's called
John.
instrument copy.
Um,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it.
yes, it
Yeah, here.
is.
Let
Yeah.
me. I can show you here. So just well, I'm in Trader Map Pro. Well, let's just go here to Bookmap data, and then from the add-ons in here, you'll see instrument copy. Well, actually, I think here it is. Here you select it. You can create one here, but once it's
An add-on.
selected,
Okay.
yeah, it's an add-on. And then once it's selected, you can even just type it in again in here. You're looking for the ES H5, select it again, and then it'll ask you, this instrument's already subscribed. Do you wish to copy it instead?
Nice.
And just say yeah, you're good to go. And it says it says it has a copy of it here.
So I could take my ES and I could just build a completely different workspace on it.
That's right, and you can put this on a different screen and everything.
But what's
Mm.
nice about it is that you can't load a bunch of stuff on it. It's
Yeah,
it's
you're
it's
restricted on indicates.
restricted to only, so it just kind of gives you a refresh for your eyeballs to wipe the slate real quick. I mean, you can go from tab to tab really fast and just kind of recenter yourself. And that's what I do. I
Love it.
recenter, where am I with respect to liquidity, and then go back and then look at it with all the elements. But I
Yeah.
Do you
find that
keep
it's a
that on
really
its own screen, John, or do you just pop in and out?
I just pop in and out. And lots of times, I'll dial this scroll back. So I want to see the real big picture, but I only want to
Right.
see liquidity. And that
Love it.
gives me an idea about where I am. It kind of reminds me of being lost in the woods and climbing up to the observation tower and looking out and saying, okay, because we get so entrenched in the weeds here that sometimes we can lose the vision. And that
Beautiful.
copy helps me with that.
Yeah, and if you pull up those volume bars a bit, Bruce, as well. I know I'm an old man, so I like my volume bars
Yeah,
higher.
way up,
Just
way
I'm
up.
just
the
way
same as
up.
David.
There you
I
go.
run those things up as high as they go.
Perfect. I've noticed that. Yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea, John. Great
It
suggestion.
is. Yeah.
That is awesome. I'm gonna do that, John, and I'll put it to work for sure.
And it's just something you can practice with, whether you use it in real time. I just think it's a great learning tool. And that's what I got out of it. I was like, boy, I'm just making this much harder than when it needs to be. And that helped me realize that tool.
Is,
And
is this
I
kind of
mean,
the view, John? Something like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
well, using Tom B's words, like Bookmap is the tip of the spear, but it can dial you in on such a tight fractal time
yeah.
frame like that. It can interfere with the higher time frame picture. So there's definitely a time to zoom out and go after that wider lens.
Yep. Yep.
And
If you ever find
John's
yourself,
comment.
If you ever find yourself getting lost, the best thing I think to do is just to pull back. If you're looking at a 5-minute front time frame, pull back to 15. It allows
Beautiful.
me to reset myself. That's been the thing that I've learned over the years. Yeah.
And John, sort of cut in there, John, your initial comments is a great sort of reminder that we're talking here about things, Shark, in terms of taking a trade and not taking a trade. So where David was in, John was waiting. He was just choosing his moments. There's no FOMO. He's just making sure he's got his ducks aligned and all those other things before he enters the market.
Mhm.
Perfect stuff. Sorry, Stan, we haven't forgotten about you.
No, that's great. Yeah, not a lot to say. I think you cover, everything. So
Yeah,
I don't
good
know
chat.
if you want to go through the next threads. That's another one by Shark.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, let's actually, I think maybe we can move on, Shark, if you don't mind.
Oh no, I'm good. You guys put me on the mic all the time, and every time I
Well
get
deserved,
so
buddy.
much out of it. I very much appreciate it.
We love it. We love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's great stuff, and I'm tempted. But I see Vinny's in, and we haven't covered Vinny in a long time, and he's a
Well, cover Vinny. I'm good. Thank you so much for
Welcome.
the insight, John. Everybody, and thank you for the MBO, Bruce. I guarantee you, I will put it to work.
Yeah, it's the stops and icebergs, and I'll give it to you. Remind me tomorrow if I forget tonight.
Will do.
Okay, excellent,
Thanks, Mike.
excellent. Okay,
Cheers,
all right,
buddy.
thanks, Shark.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
And Vinny, come on down. It's been a while.
Hey, how are you? Yeah, it's been a while. How's everybody doing?
Doing well, doing well. Let's see. Yeah, missed you. So
We have.
yeah, and yet you're killing us. Like Dan and I are like, well, wait a minute, we're not covering Vinny. I've just saw a slew of like journaled images and markups, and you're not copying and pasting it into your spreadsheet.
Nor do you.
But
Yes, I probably need to keep up with that lately. Yeah, but thanks for calling on me. Like I said, it's been a while, so it's nice to be able to get some feedback.
yeah, sure, absolutely. Well, you're doing just fantastic. So David, take it away.
Yeah, sure. So I've went into Discord, Vinny, pulled out a couple of sort of charts here. And I'm just echoing really what Bruce is saying. I love the pace and the quantity of posts that you can do. I can see when I do a search, you really are doing a plethora of these, and then they're nice sort of sharp sound bites and so forth. Easy for me to say. It will be nice at some stage if you can perhaps do a little bit, and this is constructive, please. You can do like we've seen just now. We're going to see with Laura where we perhaps build a little bit more of a storyboard. You've got your book map, as Bruce will see a little bit lower down. We've got your candle charts and so forth. So there's a little bit more to that context, setting it up, telling us a little bit about what we're really trying to do and how we did it. We've got some trade management in there. Ideally, we're seeing some trading on the chart, etc., etc. But I'm going to flip that around to a line I've said before, Bruce. And you know that when you look at my sort of posts, that they can be they're sort of, they're TikTok-like. I know they're not, but they're just a picture bite, aren't they, of what's going on in the market there and then. It's giving people ideas, it's tickling their interest, and like often that I'm doing, as John sees and like John is doing, it's helping other traders. Yeah, like we were just talking about with John about the volume bars, and let's throw in CVD. So much of that in the past week or two, John, isn't it? We're seeing where the other guys and girls in the room in Spot Gamma are actually now, Bruce, starting to look at that. Actually, and we're sharing settings, so it's getting people to look at other parts of the chart. So, what do you think of what I've just said there? Vinny, what's your respite on that? Come back to me, please.
Well, I think that you're above and beyond me there. So I'm a loss for words, but I think what you're implying is that you'd like to see a little bit more annotation on my charts. As I'm moving forward, it looks like when I'm putting
Yeah.
different aspects into it now that includes some demand and supply zones, and I can expand upon that for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a sort of like I'll say more is less is more, that sort of thing. But I will knock this back to Bruce because I said I'm very conscious, as you'll see in the notes when they're shared. I do a lot of this, and I have done a lot of this. You know that, Bruce. You think back, many years from when I used to be knocking out. You'd say so many sort of posts onto Twitter and other things, and there wouldn't be a lot of context or any context within it, or a lot of detail, except it'd be like some scribbled numbers with my mouse on the chart, what I was doing, some of Scott's setups or Joseph's setups, and that's what I was showing. But the post was done maybe a couple of minutes after the trade. So people could see it as well and go, yeah, okay, I see what he's flagging. And often they would tag along or stack along. Bruce, what do you think? Please.
David, you're rather unique.
Yeah, that he is. He's above us all, and
No.
we learn a lot from him, don't we?
I mean,
Very innovative.
yeah, and just there's not a lot of traders trading quite well. I mean, professional traders all the time trade like you, but a lot of us and a lot of retail traders, we're way more like, oh, I'm looking for a pullback and a reversal, and it's going to fit this kind of like pattern and math problem. And instead, you're just getting in. It's like it's moving. I see the sellers. I'm getting in short. I know people are going to get hurt, and I'm going to write it down.
That's it. That's me.
And you're jumping in, and you're being really aggressive. And
I'm a bouncer. I do.
Just slashing and burning, it's great. There's lots to learn from you, David. From what I've always seen, like we're all kind of waiting for this thing to turn around and whatever, and like you're just kind of waiting and hiding, and like you start to see this start to pick up, or maybe this pick up here, and you're like bam, 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 bam.
Here I go. Yeah.
And then you could be done for the day. So it's great too, because it's such a good way of trading to trade up to that high liquidity and maybe a little bit through it, because there's that momentum, and it almost always squeezes the edges. Instead of a lot of us kind of play along with the larger players, wait for the liquidity, wait for the sellers to come in, and then it may turn around. I mean, like, reversals are kind of tricky. Like they may kind of turn around, maybe not, and then maybe they just continue the same direction. But instead, you wait for this. It's really telling you something. You get in, you get out. That's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, and the wider point, please, Bruce, in terms of sort of like Vinny's post, like mine, where there's more, dare I say, quantity over quality, and I say that really politely about myself and you, Vinny, versus the sort of the real quality, heavier posts that we're seeing from great people like John and Laura and the other, great traders like Stephen and so forth, and Sharp Blue in the room. I think it's quite a wide bench that we have, isn't it?
I mean,
yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't know who he's asking, but David brings out the driver. I just use the pitching wagon or something like that, or the putter. So
we love talking golf. Now we're going. We're going now. We're good.
I mean, look, I'll just tell you, the goal of the Bookmap Academy is to whatever helps you, we want if it doesn't, like, there's others along the way that okay, they mark up things the way that kind of helps them, but they're not communicating it to others. You have to go that one extra step to be able to communicate to others, and you're doing it. So I don't have a problem with the way that you mark up. But if if you think that there's something lacking, Vinny, that or something that you can get more out of it, then I would say push it, because you probably, I think David's correct. You will probably learn more from spending more time with the details in it. When we look at like John's markups, or like slowdowns from a year ago, or others who really spend time on it, like the details that you can learn from that are incredible. I find, maybe give it a shot. And if it doesn't work for you and it kind of throws you off your game, then go back to what was working.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Good job.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I'll definitely go ahead and do that for sure. I may not be as I try to keep it simple, just real simple and efficient. So I'm looking for just certain assets so that I can apply to my trade. And I know you're right. I see many of the other traders really put their X's and O's on the charts, and with me, I kind of trimmed it all down. I was at that stage where I was doing all those X's and O's. And so what I've done is I've trimmed it down. So I really weeded out some of the noise. And so I really focus on just some of the specific aspects of some signals and entries and entry points. And so that's really kind of at the stage where I'm in now. But you're right. What I usually do is I really don't let it ride as much. I do get in and I get out pretty quick. And some of my other trades, I may let them go for a little bit, but I just figured that the less stress, the better. So I just get my profit and leave, and some of my losses are also very minimal. But you're right. Maybe I need to push the envelope a little bit.
Well, like I mean, in this academy meeting, we spend some time in detail going through. And it's been a criticism from others saying like you guys are spending too much time on some of these charts. I don't know about that. I tried pushing through really quick and going, no, here, look at this, look at that, look at this. I mean, I'd love to hear you guys' feedback. What do you think? I mean, the more detail we go into, like, the more I get out of it. Like John had an example last week, and I had a lot of questions on it, and then he got his target, and then he took it again, he got stopped out, and he got in again. And why did he get in? What was his mindset again? And then actually there was a question of like, well, there was actually another setup too, and he didn't take it. And I was wondering if he did, and he's like, oh yeah, maybe I should take a look at that. So it could open up by spending some time, more time on it.
John is right. There are different trades. There are certain trades that I could have taken this morning that I just let go. He's right. And some other trade, maybe I just don't feel as confident, or maybe I just may be looking away at the wrong time. But those that I can catch, I will go ahead and catch, whether it's during market hours or pre-market or overnight. Yeah. Does that help answer any questions?
I mean, like I like your style in whatever works for you, and don't throw, if it's helping, continue on. But I also hear David, and also like I'd like to know, like, where did you get in, where did you get out, and why?
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is a trade that I went ahead, and so what I'm applying here more so now is more so demand and supply zone. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll go ahead and review maybe the 4-hour or the hourly charts, and I'll find out where the dips are and where there's levels of support. And so I'll go ahead and draw a zone specifically, like from a wick or something, and where all it connects. So and that's where I came up with this demand zone. And so when it dipped back in it and it held, then I'm going to go ahead and you can actually see on the left it went through the zone, came back down, and so that's when I'll go ahead and enter. This actually it really worked out really well. So I entered there, and then my target was right to the liquid. Now my stop would be just below that demand zone.
So right in here.
No, it would be lower. Yeah, right there. So
Okay.
that's where it be. So that's where I found it to be more effective for me. So you see now it's just a few points. So it's not it's not that much. And that lines up with all the dots that I've connected in the 1 hour or the 4 hours or the daily chart. So I'll go back and I'll go ahead and review those for previous days, and I'm coupled with my zones. So once this went, so this was a supply zone, and once it went past it, it turns into demand. So once it enters, so now we have and it held, and then I'm just going to go ahead and wait for that dip to go right back in. Or even if it's right at the very top of the line, I'll go ahead and do that as well. But this just happened to be very quick, and it dipped right back in. And you can see that's right where onto the left, you can see right where there's some passive orders that were filled as well on the left. So it really lined up very well.
Here or here?
Yeah.
A little right there, right.
Okay.
Yeah, so it lined up really well. So that could be a level of support. It just happened to be that way, and it worked out really well. And it was a really quick trade. This was a really good signal for me. And maybe I should have added more. I only have one ES contract, so I could have done more because I felt pretty confident with that one.
Yeah, no, this right here, I just love hearing, Vinny. That is fantastic. It was just like, high liquidity, trades through it, retests it here. I mean, you could have gotten a trade out of that too,
Yeah.
and then traded
And
it
it's
back
something I
up
could have put
here.
in, and I could have annotated that as well, which I did not put in there as a fourth point. So that's a good point. So thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is what I just love to hear. Like, that you're looking for this to hold,
Right.
and that's your edge, and it's holding. So you're just like, okay, well, I'm staying in. I'm waiting for my target.
Yeah, you go over it repetitive, time and time again. You can see the posts that I put in, so annotate that as well. So so that's one of my setups that I do focus on and look for. Is I look for those passive orders to be filled, and if it holds, like you said, sometimes it'll consolidate, and if it consolidates and it holds, and I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and enter, and then you can actually see where your points are also lining up as well for support. And then I'll go ahead and have high confidence, high conviction on that, and I may enter a couple of ES contracts and let it ride out to liquidity, like most every other traders have in here. Everybody has their liquidity level that they target, and so I'm right along with them. Or an iceberg. So that was also good too up here too, because not only did it have liquidity, it also had the iceberg up there as well. So that's why I only went about 4 points. Now I can't remember if this went further. I think it might have, but I'm not sure. But I got out right away.
It's gone up with very little volume. If we look, Bruce, from 11:30 to the right of that, here's me banging on about volume bars. There's really not much going on.
Yeah.
Appreciate it's gone up 4 or 5 handles, but yeah, it's cheeky. As you say, the action's on the left of it.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I don't know. I'm hoping to come up with a few videos for you guys, but like, the big move has happened, and but a lot of liquidity is transacted as well. So I mean, typically after hitting all that supply, we are anticipating this kind of chop, and then we don't have to like sweat it if we can kind of just like be patient. And I mean, I think your strategy here is to get in and then just hold it. So you are being patient. But if you're kind of waiting and timing it and looking for something a little bit better, now you're looking for something in the chop here to tell you, maybe trap traders, or when buyers start to come in and they're ready to push it, and wherever it might be, and that could be, maybe for you that might be adding to the position.
Right,
And
right. That's something I could have done. Just exactly what you said. I could have done right where your rectangle boxes are. Right. I didn't consider that, but you're definitely ahead of the game.
I mean, this is where Dave is just, throwing contracts in.
Bring the driver out. Yep.
With a
Hold on.
9.5-degree driver. Yeah.
It's like a machete. It's not a driver.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, this is where, like, look for the order flow within the range to give us some insights. And like you were David right here. Like, there's nothing going on,
No.
So wait for, like, I mean, you can see, you might want to use Trader Map Lite or Trader Map Pro because, well, Trader Map Pro because you got MBO bundle, but here you got some liquidity that is transacting here. You can't really see it. It's kind of faint in there. But someone raised their bids up in here, and this is finally where the buyers start to take control. Now it's more up in here, but I think it's more of a stop run, to be honest. But because I don't really see them really accumulating in here, and also in this range, I don't see any accumulation. But a lot of times you will see it accumulate. And then it's like this back and forth structure is telling you something, and it can be an easier trade. Anyway, I'm just again, Monday morning quarterbacking is pretty easy.
We're good, aren't we? Yeah. We love this.
We're geniuses, yeah.
I like it.
Nice work, Vinny.
Yeah, really nice trading and charting, buddy. Well done.
Stan.
Yeah, but yeah, for me, as usual, great. Your checklist, your all the confluences that you will use. It's true that in this case, I like when you're using like the liquidity on the in this case on the bid, like to follow the price, and but yeah, you have your setup. It works. That's great. And yeah, true again for the entry. Yeah, obviously more confidence will be good. But yeah, if it's part of your setup, if it's how you're doing it, that's perfect.
Excellent. Very good.
Yeah, John, I don't know if you had any comments as well.
Well, good for you for staying in the trade. That sideways action would have driven me nuts. Look at what you were talking about here with that low volume.
Yeah.
I would have been looking for an escape, even though you have the liquidity up there. That's advertising price. To be in it that long, good for you. I would have had trouble with that, but everything else, I agree with everything you said. And that impulse move from the very beginning of where you have that rectangle, that was your move up to liquidity there at 43.5. And if I didn't get that, I would have just said, shucks, I missed it. But I probably would have had one stab in here, kind of like what you did, but I doubt I would have held on. So, but yes.
Well, just to add on to that, I actually kind of like it sometimes when it does consolidate like that, because sometimes it means that it's also storing up energy ready for the next move. So if it stays consolidated in that type of a pattern, I said I'm okay with that, and fortunately this one worked out to the liquidity.
Perfect. Yeah, that sort of low volume bit in the middle there, Bruce, is like repeating what I said earlier on at today's start of the cash hours, where there really wasn't any volume going on, and then suddenly bang, in comes the red bars. So yeah, you get that cold spring, as you're saying, Vinny. Or can be a cold spring, so to speak.
Can be, right. Correct. You're right.
Yeah. Cool. Right, where to next, Bruce, please?
Let's see. I don't know if you wanted to go over any of this in here as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can go back down to the third chart down there. Yeah, the top one. Okay, the middle. I'm sorry. Yeah, the one before that. Just a real quick. Yeah, I'm sorry to. Yeah, you're doing better.
Perfect.
So that was my game plan. So that
Yeah.
was my game plan. So I drew my demand and supply zones, and you can see the arrows. That was my game plan. I don't know if I can't remember if I posted that early in the morning in this room or I did it in another room. But that was my game plan. I was waiting for it to go ahead and move past that supply, and then waiting for a pullback, which it did. And then I went ahead and long, and it worked. So this was actually an earlier one. I believe that other one was a later trade, but this was an earlier trade that I took, and it worked out. So and that was something that I was talking to mentioned previously about setting up these supply and demand zones with analyzing the hourlies and the 4 hours and the dailies, and
Nice.
that's what I'm coming up on. And
Yeah.
I know it may sound a little different than maybe what we've been putting in the room in the past, but it's just something that I'm using so that I can apply with Bookmap to give myself a more of an advantage, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Now
yeah.
these are lovely. These are lovely because if you're sorry to cut in, but if you're looking at that chart there, that candle chart, say it's 6144, and then you're looking at whether it's TM Lite, TM Pro, or just Bookmap, and you're seeing a lot of liquidity there, then you really know you're tuned in, you're honing your game.
Right, that's what I'm trying to do. Exactly
Yeah.
right. Trying to hone in the game. Correct. I'm trying
Love
to
it,
use all
love
my
it.
clubs in the bag. All my clubs in the bag. I'm trying to use them.
Hey, love it. Oh, you're on fire tonight, Dave. You're on fire.
You gave me inspiration.
Likewise, thanks.
Yeah, good stuff. Way to go, Vinny.
Thank you.
Very
So
much, yeah.
let's see. Let's move on, and let's see. Stan, is this?
Yeah, I had only
Oh, yours is
Shark
here.
Baloo.
Oh, yeah, we went over you already
Yeah.
with Shark Blue. That's right. So we have Moby's here, and then I also have a few to go through. And in fact, let's see. RK is not in.
Let's have a look. Is he in this week? No.
Let's. He's been doing great work. Maybe we can come back. But Trading His Life is in the room. So let's go over his stuff in here. And so this is really looking very similar to what you've got, Vinny. So
Yesterday.
is this Vinny? No, it's not, right? This is
Someone's
we got
taping you,
to
Vinny.
invite him up. Trading His Life. We got to invite him up here to the stage here. So yeah, I got to clear the stage, guys, a little bit. So Vinny, I'm going to put you back in the audience, and Shark as well. Right. Go.
Light snow. Is that that's your weather there, Bruce?
Yeah, it's snowing outside. Yeah. So let's see. No, can't hear you yet.
Hello?
There you are.
Hey,
Welcome.
how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Hey, I mean, you earned it. You're partaking and getting a lot out of it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting a lot out of it. My trading went through the roof ever since I joined the academy. So
Nice.
I'm getting more
Nice.
confident in my trades. And I'm just continuing and improving. Like, I just try to keep it as simple as possible. But yeah.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, it looks. I mean, the simplicity is a lot like Vinny's, and I mentioned this the day one when you joined, and like how it was kind of a question to me, is like, well, is he new and is he covering this, or is this just, or is he kind of veteran trader and this is how he trades and he knows exactly what he's looking for? It's kind of funny, like those ends kind of touch after you might mark up your charts and mark them up and like have all sorts of stuff, and then like you end up later coming back to something very, very simple and concise. I mean, yeah, it's great. I would just say one thing right off the bat here. Try using your Trader Map Lite or Trader Map Pro, because you're going to get a lot more out of it. This algo here is skewing your order book. So I can help you tomorrow if you want in the live webinar if you want to go through that. But you can see some liquidity in here, and you can see kind of faint in here. But in Trader Map Pro or Trader Map Lite, you're going to see it a lot more substantial because it'll take out this algo and this algo here. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely remind me tomorrow once you're doing the session.
okay,
We'll
yeah,
go over it.
yeah. Walk us through a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as you can see, I had my trend line. That was the high of the day. So you see the volume dot went back down to the VWAP, went below the VWAP. Then as it went back up, I was waiting for it to cross the high of the day, which created a new high, and I entered right at the third volume dot when it bounced off the high of the day, which you used it as support, which I stayed in the trade for a few pigs, and then I exit at the liquidity. But as you can see, my CVD and my VPI all spiked up, letting me know that volume was coming in and buyers was in demand.
Yeah, perfect. So this is your trend line here? Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So one of the things that I just love you're doing again and again is so simple. You got your higher time frame filter, and this is, I think, really important. We've seen it so many times in content and journaling. That's you're going with your higher time frame filter, and then now you're looking for something more to give you deeper insight. And in this case, you know what you're looking for. You're looking for volume,
Correct.
and then now you're just looking for a bit of a pullback for entry, and then target your high liquidity.
Yeah, because that's what I was waiting for. As you see, as the second volume dot went above the trend line, it came back, touched it, which I knew it would support that buyers wasn't letting it go down any further, and then I entered right there.
Yeah, this is great. So you even waited for and you didn't get much of a pullback, but you got something.
No,
Yeah.
yeah,
So fantastic.
because I know Shark was talking about, and I got burned a lot about being eager, getting in the trade too early. So I wanted to wait to see if I was going to get at least an inch, a little pullback, which I did. Then I was kind of built up my confidence, letting me know that, hey, the buyers didn't let it go too far. So meaning where it's going to go up.
Yeah. Again, I think that the Trader Map Lite or Trader Map Pro will help you because there's probably some liquidity in here. I can kind of faintly see that maybe, again, the buyers hit it and then you get some sideways action. Now that's what gave you that pullback as well. And you can also see little structure in here in the best bid and offer, or last trade is what you're using, and you get to pull back right to it in there in this little structure. I know it's hard to see, but you can kind of see it in here, right here. And that's when you're getting in, holding, waiting for your target. Simple and effective. Great. David and Stan, help me out.
Yeah, well, come on, Stan. Balls in your corner, please, sir. Kicked into the corner.
Yeah, I feel really great. I don't know if it's the only images that we have in this case.
It is, yeah.
All right, yeah. So I think it will be good to have maybe more charts with context
Good shout.
of it, to have just a better view. it's great that you give us the explanation about the entry, like you saw the big bubbles and the relative volumes to come in. It will be maybe great to annotate it, to put it there. Yeah, as Bruce mentioned, the through the mat blight will obviously help you. With the liquidity, kind of, yeah, annoying. That's great to see your trade with Bookmap. I don't know if in this case, if you just move your stop higher, like I don't know, like there is two arrow that point the algo. I'm wondering if it's where your stop is. If it
No, the
was a
two arrows. One, I'm pointing so you guys can see exactly where I entered, and the exit. My exit was the liquidity. So I'm showing I have liquidity above, and I have liquidity below. So
all right, and the liquidity below is this more about your stop or on the
uh,
right side? Yeah, exactly.
yeah, the liquidity below was there. I was more being afraid of a pullback, so I didn't want to give back the gain. So I seen above and below, so I just decided to exit out the trade.
Yeah. So yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, just maybe with Map Light, you will have a better view of it, because it's true that it's moving and it can give you like yeah, wrong information. Um, but yeah, that's great. Maybe a checklist of your point to start to build a strat or confidence in things that you're looking at. But yeah, just great thread. Keep posting. I don't know,
Yeah, no,
David.
good. Yeah, no, thanks, Stan. Great points. Great points. Is this sort of your size of trading window, or you've just zoomed in for the screenshot to post at all, please?
Yes, those are zoom in for the screenshot.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's as a trade. Yesterday was a monster day for the markets, as we all know. As I think I said earlier on, it was Tesla out the gate to start with. It was really fueling the market up. Although it took, I think, a little while for ES to sort of get in line with that, because there were a couple of sellers on a couple of the FANGs and MAGs that were going the other way. But this is great. This is great, Bruce. We've got my usual love of and the higher volume bars coming through the delta bars. You've got the green. You said you've marked your level in terms of support and resistance. You wait for that tiny little pullback. There's not really any volume on that pullback, and you get in. You're confident where it's going to go. As Stan says, perhaps another chart which is a bit more zoomed out would probably give us a little bit of context. I think you're on Eastern time, aren't you, from what I recall?
Yeah,
So
I'm in New
yeah,
York.
we'd have probably a little bit more context of the past hour and a bit of sort of play and so forth. The thing here that is, again, it's Monday morning, so great exit, took your points off the table. Although as you start to develop your trading skills, when you start to see that pickup in buy volume, you can then think, is now really the time to get out? But I apologize on a Monday morning for what I'm saying there, but that could be, if it's your first trade of the day, sure, like we all do, and we've talked about that tonight on several things. You want to get your money out, bang, tick, agreed. But if it's not your first trade of the day and you're perhaps more rolling the dice about things, when you're seeing that volume pick up, could be the time to go, you know what, I'm just going to move my stop into the market money. So you stop above your entry level, sort of 6141 market money, and I'm just going to see what happens. I'm just going to see what happens. But I'm into trade management, and Bruce would tell me we're not talking about trade management, are we, Bruce?
No, we totally are, and we want to hear
Thank you. Oh,
we want to
whew,
hear
thank you.
exactly all that. I mean, like
Thank you.
you and John both have a really nice way of, you know, what you're similar, and
Yeah.
the way
Yeah,
that
we
the
are.
way that you trade it, David, is a little different. Like you kind of like make some more conservative trades during the kind of London session.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then you've got money in the bank.
So,
And it's like, okay, now I'm gonna try to build out the account,
yes.
and that's when you start getting aggressive, and you're kind of like, say la vie, who cares? Like, it's not my money, and I can turn this into a heck of a lot more, if you know your edge,
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, you would be, probably seeing this come in, and you're like, yeah, okay, bam, 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 but
I'm
then you're
adding.
out.
Yeah.
Then you're out,
Yeah.
out some at least,
Yeah. And
and then
just
letting it roll.
That's it. And to Stephen, sort of cutting to Stephen's, he's rightly saying those pullbacks that I mentioned that's just below that number one. I think that's one, Stephen, can be very nasty. You're quite right. They can be. My defense of that, or my story on that, of course, I've got my confluence. Like I mentioned, I could see yesterday, I've got Tesla chart going crazy. I've got the market pulse on Tesla going crazy. I'm looking at other things. I'm looking at options. I need to segue John into this conversation. And it gives me confidence that that pullback shouldn't be too nasty. But of course, it can be, as we saw earlier on with Sharp Blues, I think, didn't we? We had that, we just lost one of the contracts by a couple of pips, couple of ticks. John, your turn, sir. Catch us, please, if you're still with us.
Sure. Well, at the very left side of the chart, you can see that prices were above VWAP, came back down with a fair amount of volume, and then it sprang back up. It started to move up. As soon as I get above VWAP, I think that's the go. I think that's the long, to tell you the truth, because you know, if you can get long here, you don't know that big volume dot is there,
No.
but as soon as you get above VWAP, I would be looking hard at getting long there. And with where you got long up when it took out the high, I think down the VWAP represents your risk. So for me, the risk looks a little high to me. So you were trading
Yeah.
above VWAP, you came back down VWAP, you started to trade above it. If I can get a signal in here, I would have liked to have seen a sell stop or a sweep or something like that at VWAP, and that would have enabled me to get long. I just think up here, there's a fair amount. The risk to reward is a little high for me, actually.
Compared to the VWAP, yeah, no, great point,
And
John.
I'm glad it worked for you.
Yeah, I had my stop right below the trend line, so my stop
Yeah,
would have been right below the thing. But
but there's
speaking
not
of
much.
pullback, it's just like
Yeah, but there's not
one
much.
simple pullback could take and wipe your whole game. So that's why I got out. I was afraid of that pullback.
Sure, I understand, but to the market, that trend line, it would be different if there was a lot of liquidity there or something. I just don't see anything there that potentially the market couldn't fall back to that VWAP, and I just saw it as a little risky. That's all. But everything else you did was fine. Um, the volume profile all the way to the right, to the lower right down there, it shows that there must have been a impulse move to the upside that took you above VWAP. And so that was good all the way over to the right where it says 172, 184, 193 down in there, at the
Uh,
rightmost column, right? So you must have had a nice move to the upside, taking you above VWAP. We can't see that exactly.
No, we
Exactly.
can't.
So, it's like a nice retracement to VWAP. I just love those retracement to VWAP trades. Um, and like I said, the space between where you got in and VWAP is just a little rich for me. That's all. And I guess the takeaway is just look at that. Look at how the market behaves around that VWAP. And I think over time you might see what I'm talking about.
I
No.
definitely see what you're talking about. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, great point, John. John is the master, Bruce, as we know, of
Oh God.
playing VWAP, particularly John in ETH.
All the time. Um,
That's a good answer. Yeah,
Yeah, all
not
the
just
time.
ETH.
I
All the time, David.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, all the time.
yeah, good,
And on
good point.
everything, whether it's crude oil or stocks
Yeah.
or the futures. Yeah, yeah, and it's based on I reset it every day to 1800 hours the previous
Hmm.
day,
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
so I go through Bookmap every day and update everybody on everything I have. So that's the reset for me.
So
Nice.
that's some really great feedback, John. And so trading is life. I I would just say this, like it. I mean, it's awesome feedback. Um, One thing, I just want to underscore something. If you're trading, and this is how you trade, and this is what you're looking for, um, don't mess up what you do, but just take it as take the feedback and then as a separate study, look into this. Is this something that I want to look into? Like, getting in here. And then maybe you can integrate that in as a separate trade or a separate setup. But you don't want to throw your game off of the way that you trade. It can really, I mean, we've all done it so many times, and it can take your confidence away of what was working before. So, but it's really worth looking into. It's a really great suggestion. I have a question for John on that. Like, yeah, it's above VWAP, but I kind of struggle with understanding VWAP when it's not behaving well around it. It's above it, it's below it, it's back up above it, and it kind of loses its meaning for me. I don't know what you guys have in terms of insight from your studies.
Exactly. Well, that's why I waited because you
Mm,
see, it was the red bubble, the red volume dot. It went under the VWAP, so I was kind of afraid that it might go right back for a reverse. So that's why I waited till it goes above the trend line, more of a clarity, more of a certain that is the trend line became my VWAP. So instead of that, I used the trend line as my support, and that was like the new VWAP to me. And that's why I entered right after it went above.
got you. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would go with David's suggestion on maybe higher time frame chart or something, because we don't know, we can't really see it,
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that would be great because that justified your trade here, trade decision. Um, but uh, I, John, I don't know how you have any comments on that. Like
Sure.
when it's like bashing around VWAP like this, you still um, respect it, or you still looking for opportunities around it.
I identify it as a level of interest. So I don't
Okay,
trade off of it. I don't trade bounces off of it. I just identify it as a level of interest, and then I look for other things that complement that level. So I would like to see volume come in, kind of like that big dot, or I would like to see a sell sweep that failed, something like that. So I'm not a, I don't trade off of it per se, independent of anything else. It's just a marker for me that says, I know everybody and their brother's looking at this. Now, what can I
True.
do with it? And then I start to look for other elements that would complement an action,
yeah,
namely
nice.
a sell sweep or a stop run, something like that. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Guys, great discussion. Um,
Yeah, very much.
And I
Yeah.
echo what you're saying, Bruce. And I would never want to jeopardize someone's progress. I just wanted to identify that that's where I think the true risk is in taking that trade. But very good work, just
It
outstanding
is.
work.
Yeah.
Just be cognizant is that if you have that space between where you got in and VWAP, I believe that is your risk.
Got it. That's what replay's for, you know. I could take what you're saying and
Yeah.
replay
Good
it and
tips.
take it from there.
Yep.
yeah, excellent. Yeah, really great discussion. I love it. And John, I did the same thing to you last week, and it was just like, well, what about entering here? And like, you're like, oh yeah, I guess I
Yeah.
could, but and I was like, oh God, I cringed. I was
No.
like, I might be throwing him off his
Bruce.
game.
No. No. No.
Yeah.
What
Hold the club this way, Vinny. You'll be fine.
Right.
Try
no,
this new glove.
really what it should do is it should compel you to look at it and decide for yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
really what this is all about. And I think it's
Yeah.
wonderful. We never had this. When we started a long, long time ago. Um, but now they'll be able to, kind of bounce ideas back and forth, and then go back and check it, practice it, and make it yours. That's the point of this.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is.
And
Can I
that,
segue?
I'm sorry, go ahead, David.
I was gonna. I can see we got Donna in the room with us, John. So welcome, Donna. To use Moby's phrase of Zoe. So it's those areas of interest, John, isn't it? So whether it's a Zoe, whether it's black ice, would you say it's just something that's on the chart that you're not going to react like an algo, but you're going to really take notice for it and see how the price does react around that, because so many other traders are looking at that point, and if there's something going to happen, you're ready to pounce and react and strike back with it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I also want to underscore something that you said, John, is exactly it, a lot of what this program is about is we can come up, we can do the Monday morning quarterbacking, we can say, oh, look at this, look at that, but you're right. It just, take a look at it, and now you got to go back and study it, and you got to make it your own. It's so important to own it, and it's everything. That's where you build the confidence. That's where you'll build up your edge. You know your trade, you know your setup, and you take it again and again.
Yes.
So just just want to echo that, and how important it is, because we all have fallen to that trap of like, oh well, he's just doing that, I'm just going to copy that and do what he's doing because he's doing well. And boy, doesn't take long to learn that doesn't work, and then you go on to the next one and try that one, and now you're in this endless loop. Anyway, really appreciate the discussion.
Yeah, really good, guys.
Guys, I don't know, like, what do you think? Like, if we call it a day here? I'm trying to. We got some feedback that these are 2-hour sessions, and I hear you. I mean, we get kind of lost in them like this in these discussions, but they're so good. I feel. I hope you guys as well. But I also want to respect your time, and maybe we can cut these down a little bit to hour and a half or something like that.
Sounds good. Sounds good, Sharon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
as you wish.
Well, let's see. We got a few guys commenting, I think, here, but let's see. Yeah, trading is life. You've got the right Discord name, because you're hooked. I can tell. So you're loving it. That's we're all kind of hooked in here. Guys, thank you so much. Great content. Coaches, thank you so much. Great discussion. And we'll see you tomorrow. And get geared up for the next meeting on Thursday.
That's perfect. Great weekend, guys, when it comes. Thanks a lot.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you everyone.
Cheers, guys. Take care.